So IOU Pay has had an amazing run, especially in February, where the stock price increased by over 250%, which put the company in a lot of people's radars, including mine. So in this video, we're going to discuss what this company does, what they're hoping to achieve, and we're also going to dive into its financials, which is arguably the most important part. And I'll also give you guys my opinion on the company. Hey guys, my name is Faizy. On this channel, we talk about Australian personal finance and investing. Now, before we start, I just want to say that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. We are speaking in a very general sense only. I just have a passion for investing, same as you, so let's get into it. So to put it simply, IOU's goal is to be one of the leading digital transaction processors in the booming cashless economies of Southeast Asia. Now, this is perhaps the biggest differentiator of the company because these guys are targeting Southeast Asia, and that's the main focus, not the US or Europe, which is the focus of other similar companies. Now, this company has three main broad offerings: mobile banking, digital payments, and more recently, buy now, pay later. So let's have a look at this. Now, through the IOU platform, customers can mobile bank and have basic financial services like transaction processing, ID transfers, and secure KYC onboarding when signing up for the first time. Now, the main benefit of this is that this reduces time and unnecessary paperwork that they would have to traditionally deal with. Similarly, with digital payments, customers can easily pay for bills, for electricity, water, prepaid phone charges, and e-commerce as well. And then lastly, we have the partnership with Easy Store, which is the buy now, pay later offering. Now, Easy Store has been running for over 7 years, and they have over 7,000 merchants across Southeast Asia. So then, of course, this partnership makes absolute sense because Easy Stores has merchants in this region, and IOU Pay is targeting this region. So that's quite good. Now, the main value for the customers that's created is that they have access to an easy web application or an app. And the main thing is the speed and cost benefit that I mentioned earlier, because they can do things very, very quickly and bypass unnecessary processes. Now, the value that's created for the big brands and big merchants is that they get access to the customer's credit score, electronic KYC, which makes it much more quicker for them as well. So basically, with using IOU's platform, merchants are able to trust it because it has ID and credit scoring, and customers want to use it because it's quick and has less paperwork. Now, as you guys can see in this slide, IOU Pay is basically a middleman in this whole transaction. They essentially purchase the inventory from the vendor, who is a wholesale vendor, and they buy it at a discount, then they resell it to the individual stores and they make a cut in between. Now, in this whole transaction, IOU does have risk because if the distribution channels don't purchase the inventory, then the company is basically left with excess stock. But IOU is saying that when it comes to their inventory sell risk, it's low and it sells out each week. So that's obviously a good sign. Now, looking at their banking partners, we can see some big names on here like Citibank, Standard Chartered, and so many other names that I can't quite recognize, but I'm sure they're quite big when it comes to Southeast Asia. Now, in this slide, we can see the opportunity that IOU Pay actually has because the total population of Southeast Asia is 655 million, and out of that we have roughly 400 million adults. Now, of that 400 million, 100 million have full banking services like bank accounts, credit, investment, and insurance. But we have the underbanked population, which may or may not have bank accounts, but they don't have credit, they don't have access to investments or insurance. And then we have the 200 million population, which potentially doesn't have access to any of that. Now, this is a huge growth opportunity because they have access to 200 million people. And if they can get these guys onto this digital platform, then this will be quite good because we can see that the internet economy is booming and it's expected to be 8.5% by 2025 as a percentage of GDP. So since the trends are moving towards digital payments, if IOU can capitalize on this, then this is a huge growth opportunity. Okay, now let's dive into the financials of the company and see where they currently stand. But before we do, if you found value in this video so far, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out. Now, this announcement right here is quite a fresh announcement because this was released on the 1st of March, and we can see that revenue has decreased by nearly $600,000, which presents a decrease of 17% on a year-on-year basis. But then if we look at the loss has actually decreased by 12%. So let's look at some reasons why this is the case. So diving into the profit and loss statement, we can see that the revenue has decreased as we spoke about earlier. However, there is an extra $880,000 worth of extra income, which is classed as other income, which we will discuss in just a second. So just keep this 880K in mind. Looking at the expenses, fees are mostly similar to the other corresponding period. However, there are a few discrepancies and let's go through them. The compliance and professional fees have increased quite significantly, which hopefully might be a once-off expenditure, let's hope. And the admin expenses have also gone up around 3 times. Now, looking at the balance sheet, we can immediately see the huge increase in the cash and cash equivalents. Now, this is because IOU has done successful capital raisings before, well. So they're basically loaded with cash to continue their mission. And if we compare it to current liabilities or non-current liabilities, you guys will see that they don't actually owe a lot of money if we just look at it on a cash by cash basis. Now, in fact, the current ratio of the company is over 9, which means that they've got solid liquidity, which is a huge plus. Since this company is a fast-growing company which is not profitable and they currently have negative cash flow from operations, there needs to be a solid cash base, and we can see that in the balance sheet. So hopefully this should be enough to sustain them through the next few reporting periods. Now, looking at the statement of cash flows, we can see that the receipt from customers has increased year on year, but so has the payments to suppliers and employees, and cash flow from operations and cash flow from investing activities still remains negative. Now, the main cash injection in this business has recently come from the share issuance that we spoke about earlier, and in the end right here we are left with $8.5 million worth of cash, which we saw the exact number in the balance sheet. Now, do you guys remember the $880,000 that we spoke about earlier? Well, this is the breakdown of that other income. Now, we can see some bank interest of $1,100. However, this could be mainly because of the cash that they have sitting around from raising capital, and the huge forex gain of $172K is also just a once-off gain. So we can't actually include this as actual income because it won't be reliable and it won't be ongoing. Now, to me, it seems that the only reliable income here is the selling of mobile prepaid airtime products of $660K, which makes up a huge percentage of this overall income. So that was a high-level view of the financials. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this company. Now, when I first reviewed Dough about a week ago, I liked the fact that they were looking to empower individuals to take control of their finances, and it looks like IOU Pay does the same thing. By giving more people access to mobile banking and mobile payments, they're basically empowering people by giving them digital access. And the best part of all is that this is all in a region of the world that is very fast growing, so I do like that. Now, personally speaking, I firmly believe that every single nation needs to have proper payments and a proper banking system. And banking is a thing that should be accessible by anyone who needs it, and for an economy to move forward and develop, these are basically the essentials, so this is good. Now, obviously, we can't ignore the risks that's around this company because, let's face it, it is super volatile. Now, with stocks like this, it is very, very common to see gains and losses in a single day that are double digits. So if you are planning to invest, just keep that in mind. It is surely going to be a bumpy ride because at the end of the day, it is still a penny stock. As for me, I currently have no positions in the company as of now, but I will be watching this one quite closely because I think it's a very exciting space. Since I personally come from a banking and financial services background career-wise, whenever I see fintech, it's quite thrilling because I think there is so much room for improvement in financial services. Well, that's it for the video, guys. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Here are 2 other videos you can check out as well if you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. Looking at the expense